Coming up on this edition of Southwest TV News. It's official. Tim Marcus is the new Chief Administrative Officer for the City of Swift Current. His work continues at the site of the new Elmwood residential subdivision. Mayor and Council have now approved the concept plan for the project. An emergency can strike at any time due to the weather or other factors. And when a disaster occurs, the normal response is to lend a helping hand to your neighbor. Thanks for joining us here today. A familiar face at City Hall is now the new Chief Administrative Officer for Swift Current. We have more in today's top story. It's official. Tim Marcus is the new Chief Administrative Officer for the City of Swift Current. The announcement was made during Monday's council meeting in Chambers. Marcus has worked with the city for 15 years as the Chief Financial Officer and as Deputy CAO, a secondary role he took on in 2011. A new appointment, which the city's mayor says Marcus is well suited for.
It's expensive to go through the hiring consultants, and you never know what you're going to get when you go through that competitive process. And fortunately for us, we've got somebody that's got history in the city of Swift Current that assumed the deputy role the last time we made a change. And I think Tim's got a wealth of experience from his previous careers and, of course, 15 years within the city. And anybody that served on city council knows that Tim's been involved in just about every piece of strategy and major events that have happened in our community. So he's a deserving guy, and we couldn't be happier for him.
And as Marcus assumes the full-time duties of Chief Administrative Officer, he says he looks forward to carrying on with a number of projects already on the table, including the city's growth strategy of 25 by 25, a target which he believes is possible in attaining, as he's called Swift Current home for a number of years.
Well, I think it's a safe and caring community, but there's also many things depending on your interests. There's a lot of events that take place, both from a sporting and from a cultural standpoint. There's most of the amenities that anybody needs are here inside the city, and it's a very safe place to be. I know from when my kids were little, it's comforting to know that if they're outside playing, you don't really have to worry about them. And certainly 15 years later, the grandkids are the same way.
As Tim Marcus assumes the full-time role of Chief Administrative Officer, he'll also oversee the duties of Chief Financial Officer for the city until this position is officially filled. Imagine a destination where you can enjoy world-class dining and unique accommodations. Take a leisurely stroll through streets filled with rich history while browsing for that perfect gift. Buy fresh produce from the farmers market and enjoy a range of cultural events while stepping back in time to learn more about Canada's Old West. Your summer destination is awaiting you in Maple Creek. For event listings and all things Maple Creek, visit our website. As the city of Swift Current continues to grow, 80 new residential lots will be available for sale by the end of the year, adjacent to the Elmwood Golf Course. As work continues at the site of the new Elmwood residential subdivision, Mayor and Council have now approved the concept plan for the project. The subdivision will include approximately 80 lots, including single and multifamily designs, with a premium view of the Elmwood Golf Course. And following an on-screen presentation to Council outlining the process taken to date for the project, there's still paperwork to be finalized before the lots are available for sale.
So I guess the next step is working on the architectural controls, which the city is currently developing with a consultant. And once we have a draft in place, we'll be getting in touch with everyone that's expressed interest in the project and open it up to potential developers to get some feedback on that. And once that's finalized, then we'll move forward with zoning, subdivision, and getting the lots finalized and ready for development.
He further adds that prospective buyers or current residents of the Elmwood Golf area can be assured that the new development has been well thought out to ensure proper water capacity, sewers, and stormwater drainage for this growing part of the city.
the consultant definitely examined all of those factors as they were, or the identified challenges were already known. And so that factored into the development of this concept plan. I think it's lift station number 7 and 12 are set to be improved over the next number of years to not only work with this particular development, but to also service future growth towards the east end of the city.
To date, approximately 70 interested parties have contacted City Hall, inquiring about the new lots in the Elmwood Community Subdivision. The average lot price in this new subdivision is estimated to be in the $130,000 range, and increases in value depending on the choice of view. More information on the project is available through the city's website. Another exciting season of Market Square returns to downtown Swift Current, featuring live entertainment, fresh garden produce, crafts, and other unique vendors. Market Square, every Saturday at the corner of Central and Chaplin. Proudly presented by the City of Swift Current and Standard Motors, along with Innovation Credit Union and Southwest TV News. The City of Swift Current has renewed an agreement with 23 surrounding municipalities. We find out why in this report. An emergency can strike at any time due to the weather or other factors. And when a disaster occurs, the normal response is to lend a helping hand to your neighbor. This is the simple concept behind an ongoing mutual aid agreement between the City of Swift Current and 23 communities in the area. Since 2011, the City of Swift Current has had such an agreement in place with surrounding communities within a 50-kilometer radius of the city, with the concept now growing beyond the 50 kilometers as more communities realize the importance of strategic partnerships.
Any community will run out of resources in a major disaster very quickly. And the idea of a mutual aid agreement is that we come to each other's aid. So, for instance, if there was a tornado hit Gull Lake, they couldn't handle it. So we could go help them, the RM of Gull Lake, the RM of Swift Current, all the surrounding neighbors could come in and help them. If it happened in Swift Current, we have more resources, but very quickly our resources would be depleted too. So we can call on our neighbors to come help us. So it's about helping each other.
Elon adds that most communities across the province have set up similar agreements for emergency planning, with the hope of expanding such concepts on a provincial level.
And I know that there's discussion that way, and they're looking at our agreement as a model that could be used province-wide. And that way there'd be no arguments about who can come and help who. It's just a matter of making the phone calls.
The new mutual aid agreement will be renewed until December 31st, 2019, between the City of Swift Current and its surrounding municipalities. Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone at our studio or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across Southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at MyLocalTV.ca. And be sure to follow us on a range of social media. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.